Yeah, syllabus for the quiz tool will be like week 5 to 8. Hello, am I audible, right?
Okay, sir. Yeah.
And most of the question will be like similar to practice assignment question and the graded assignment question like quiz one. And we won't ask from like other than the like outside the syllabus. Whatever the content is there in the video, we'll ask from that only. So if you watch the content properly, and solve all the practice assignment question and the graded assignment question, then you can easily score a good score. Lakshmi, could you please share the screen so that I'll give the overview, like what like how many question will be there, and all the things. Mia, am I audible, right?
Give me a moment. Yeah, you're audible. Give me a moment. I'm just sharing my screen.
Okay. Go to the first. So there will be quiz too. So there will be like 50 question will be like 50 marks will be there. So total 40 question will be there, and there will be 2 MCQ that will 8 marks, and there will be 12 NAT question, that numerical question will be there, that will be 42 marks, right? So like you can see that most of the questions are like NAT, right? Like a short answer question. So whatever the NAT question in the practice 7 question and the graded 7 question, so we can try to solve without seeing the solution. So that will be like, it will be good for you, and it will be like good for the quiz 2 exam. And there won't be any like outside the syllabus. So whatever the content is there from week 5 to 8, from the like whatever professor taught and whatever the questions are there in the practice and graded, so it will be like similar of practice 7 question and the graded 7 question. So we'll solve like some of like from the practice 7 question and the graded 7 questions. So we've picked out some question from the practice and graded 7 question, and we'll solve these sessions. And before that, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll proceed with the solving the question. Okay, Neeraj, how like content is fine, right?
Yeah, content is fine. You can
Are you
proceed.
liking the content?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
It's actually very helpful. So in my company, we set up cloud infrastructure through AWS. So these some of the concept from this course is very helpful to
Oh,
understand the terms and how what it does behind the scenes. So
oh, nice. Which
yeah.
company, like your own startup or?
So I have a gaming startup.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, 2025 people's team. So
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, very nice.
yeah.
So, like, which type of game, like Android game or video game or?
TV, Android, web.
Oh, okay, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, Umya, you can start. Umya Lakshmi, am I audible, right? Hello.
Give me 5 minutes. I'm just joining.
Okay. Okay, so the thing is that from in the higher video, like week 9, 10, 11, 12. So week 9 also, like we are creating one tutorial that discrete algorithm and distance vector algorithm, right? So that will, like, we have created one tools, so that will like that give the how that discrete algorithm work and the distance vectors. So like maybe today or tomorrow we'll upload in the SIG portal, so you can like see the content. So maybe let me see that is there, then I'll give the overview also. Another one is there. Just 1 minute. Okay, just 1 minute, I'm searching. Um, my screenshot screenshot visible, right? Hello, hello.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
We have like created some tool, so it will be like showing like this. So you have to select the algorithm, suppose distance vector. So then we have to upload one CSV, right? So CSV like look like this. So it will be like all the graphs, like distance will be there. So like if you upload it, suppose upload CSV, then after that you can see all the things. So this is the distance vector. So this is working in like Windows is properly, but in the Mac little bit problem is there. So we'll see. So this will give the tutorial in this week itself, and the higher week also like that whatever the professor discussed in the first session, that this that packet analysis and all the things, that all the things will be there in the tutorial, maybe like 11 12 or maybe week 10. So we'll try to push as soon as possible that those tutorial. And the week 9 there will be no assignment because only one video is there, so we'll won't be give the assignments. And week 12 also, like if there is a demo video, there won't be assignment. Maybe programming assignment is there, like for the practice, not for the graded. But maybe, or maybe as a bonus we'll give the programming assignment in the upcoming like weeks. And like this is our like our planning for the like rest of the weeks. If you have any suggestion, then you can tell. I'll like try to convey to the professor.
So only in the week 9 the assignment will not be there. In
Yeah,
the rest of the weeks we will have assignment,
yeah.
right?
Rest of the weeks will be there. Some assignment will be there. If it is not there, then we'll inform.
Okay. And this programming assignment, does it have any weightage?
So mostly we'll give the as a practice or maybe as a bonus. So we'll
Okay.
like send the announcement. So whatever
Okay.
we'll decide with the professor. This will be bonus or the practice.
Okay.
Whatever
Okay.
professor. So maybe as a bonus. So I'll try to say to bonus because it will be good for you, like good for the student.
Yes, yes, that would be great.
Because program assignment we cannot it cannot be auto evaluated. It will be like you have to see all the submissions.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to do the manual evaluation.
So we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
But the demo video will be like tutorial will be there in the upcoming week. And if you like preparing for the GAT also, like I think all the GAT concept is like mostly covered in the computer network that course, right? If anyone is preparing for the GAT,
Acha, okay.
then because our main motive is like starting the course, like the computer network. There are
Mhm.
two. First is the those who are preparing for the GAT CS, so that
Mhm.
this computer network will be covered. And another is like how actually like in the system very few courses are there. First is the computer system design, another is operating system, and this is the computer network. How actually system work. We'll get to know this thing like how that everyone is like uses like mobile laptops and all that. It's like how network is there, like how internet is connecting. So these are the like if you want to know, then I can go through like this or the main motive was there before starting the course.
Okay.
Yeah, this. Yeah, Ume Lakshmi, are you there?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we can start then.
Yeah, okay. I have shared my screen. Is my screen is visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So fine. So we'll discuss few questions, people. Like mostly I have taken NAT questions so that it will be easy for you to crack this quiz too also. Okay. So the first question is like a sender transmits 10 kb burst every 0.5 seconds. The receiver socket buffer is 12 kb and its application reads data continuously at 8 kb. So how many bytes will overflow the receiver buffer when the second burst arrives? Okay. So, what do you understand from this question, people?
So I think it's 8 kbps per second. The application reads 8 kb per second. The transmission is given in half a second, so we have to do calculation in half a second. So
Yes, because like the application drain rate is also given, right? Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay,
the
then.
data transmission, the burst is 10 kb. So application in that time application will read half of the 8 kb. That will be 4 kb. So 6 kb will go to the buffer. 6
Yes.
kb will remain in buffer. Then again, then in the next burst, 10 kb will come again, out of which uh, 4 kb will be read, and then 6 kb will again okay, 6 kb will again go to the socket buffer.
Yes. This. Okay. So, actually, what happens, like as you have explained this, right? Let me just write it here. Okay. So, let's say, what is the buffer receives? Buffer receives is 10 kb, right?
Yeah.
My writings are visible, right? Okay.
Yes.
Fine. So, next, what they have mentioned here, they have mentioned that the receiver buffer is of 12 kbps. And then they have also mentioned that like the draining rate will be of 8 kbps, and they mentioned like every 0.5 seconds, which means like if it is of 8, so every time it will be like 4 kb will be taken for the every 0.5 seconds, right? Similarly here also it drains us like 10 kb every 0.5 seconds. So next what we are so the what is the buffer receives is 10 kb, which means it has occupied around 10 kb. So after 0.5 seconds what will happen? 4 kb will be read, right?
Yeah.
So it will become like 10 is the initial occupancy, now 4 is read, so what will be the remaining?
6.
Now the 6 kb will be there. So next,
Again 10 kb will come.
so now we have to check for the free space. What is the buffer space? Only 12, right?
Yeah. So 10
Out
plus
of
6 will be
12,
16. So 16
the
kb
6
data
will
is
be
there
gone,
only.
right?
Yeah.
No, out of 12, the 6 will be gone, right? So only remaining 6 will be in the total occupancy. So next, what we have to do, we have to take the new bus. That is, now the buffer can accept only 6 kb, right?
Mhm.
So there will be over, like actually what is the second burst, like arrival will be again 10 kb, right?
Right.
So it will be like only 6 I can do. So what will be the overflow here?
4 kb, I think. 16 minus
Yes,
12.
exactly. Yeah, 4 kb will be the extra overflow. Okay. So if I have to convert it to the bytes, we can just multiply as 4 into 1024.
Hmm.
Okay. Is these things clear, people? To everyone?
Yeah, it's clear, ma'am.
Okay, which means you can just multiply this value, which will be around 4096. No? That will be the number of bytes it has taken, because they have asked only in the bytes, not in the kbs. And here is the next question. They have said that the sender starts with the congestion of 1 kb and it doubles every RTT. So every round time, it is just taking like every RTT it is taking the like it is doubling it. Okay, so what will happen? So first time it will be of
First
1.
time, it will be 1, then double every time. So
Yes.
1, 2,
So
4,
when
8.
we, yes. So you can say that at 2 to the power of which one I'll get it as 64.
Yeah. 2 to the power 6.
When it will go beyond 64.
Right.
Okay, that should be the question. Which means, let's say initially it will be of 2 to the power of 0 is 1. 2 to the power of 1 is 2. 2 to the power of 2 is 4. Then 8. And then 16. 32. And 64. They're asking it has to reach above that. Yes. It has to exceed the 64 kb, right?
No, it says reach or exceed. So if it reaches also, that is fine.
Oh, yeah. Then we'll get it as 6 or
6.
7, right? Yeah, 6.
6, yeah, 6 is also correct.
More
Yeah.
than 6.
6
6.
reach. Uh, if exceed is only the condition, then it should be 7. Otherwise, it should be
Yeah.
6.
If it is given as reach or exit, means it has to be greater than or equal to the 6 only.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Here is the next question. A TCP sender has a congestion window of 12 kb and a round trip time of 60 ms. And assume each packet is 1 kb. So what will be the sender's data rate?
Congestion window divided by RTT.
Yes. So here we have 12 divided by 0.06 seconds, right? Because it's given in milliseconds, so I'm just taking it to the seconds. So what will happen?
6 into 10 to power minus 2.
So I'll get it as 12 kb divided by 0.06
Yeah.
seconds. Okay, so on dividing, what will we get? We'll get it around 2 goes will go above, so 200 will get it, right?
Uh, yeah, 200.
See, it's 12. So if I take it to the power, I'll get 1200 divided by 6. Nothing
Correct,
but
correct.
200.
Yeah.
Okay, so now 200 kbps I have got. And then what they have mentioned is we have to, sorry, 200. Yes, kilobytes we have got. So we have to convert KB, right? It's uppercase B. So we have to convert it to the kilobytes per second. Bytes we have to. So it's a kilo, like KB to KB. Like there is a difference, right? This we have to change it to the bytes, which means we have to multiply it by 8. So you'll get it as 16,000 kilobytes.
1600.
1600. Sorry. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear to everyone so far?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
This is of kilobyte. We are changing it to kilobits. That's why we are multiplying it by 8 to change it to a kilobit. Fine. So now comes the next question. A TCP Renault connection has a congestion window of 16 kb and a round trip time of 200 milliseconds. So after an RTO, that is retransmission timeout event, now 1 MSS is equal to 1 kb. So how many RTTs are required for the congestion window to grow back from 1 to 16? That's the question. So what are all given? So every time the congestion window is resets at 1 ms, right?
Yes.
So it resets that 1 MSS is equal to 1 kb. Then they have said that its growth is like 0 and then it
0,
will go
1,
back.
2,
Hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's linear growth. Right?
Yeah, it is like we are just making it grow like 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So from RTT 0 it will start, right? So when we will reach this 16,
So 16 minus 1, I think so.
exactly, one, like we can say that 1 plus n is equal to 16 we need to get.
Correct.
Okay, because 0 we are getting as 1. For 1 we'll get it as 2. For 2 we'll get it as 3, like that. So if I
Yeah.
have to get it as 50, we'll get it as 60. Is it clear to everyone? See, let's say okay, so let's say RTT 0. So in the 0 I'm taking as 1. In 1 what it will become? 2. Is my writings are visible, people?
Yes, yes. it will.
Okay, so for 1 I'm getting as 2. So for 2 I'll get it as 3. For 3 I'll get it as 4. And 4 I'll get it as 6. I mean, like 5 I'll get it as 6. Like this it goes on. Which means when it is 15, I'll get it as 16 kbps, right? So here the answer will be of 50. Is it clear? See, this plus 1 I have to get the n value. That's it. Is it clear, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. So here a bottleneck link has a capacity of 100 Mbps and is shared by 3 flows. That is TCP AMD. X1 is 40 and X2 is also 40 and flow 3 is UDP of 20 Mbps. We have to find the Jaynes fairness index. So how to calculate the Jaynes fairness index?
I think it's summation of xi whole square divided by I times. So it will be 40 plus 20 whole square divided by 3 times 40 square, 40 square, 20 square.
Yes, exactly. That's it. So it's very simple that first I have to add all these values, ma. So which means I'll get it as 40 plus 40 plus 20. What will be the value we'll get?
100
100. Yes. 100 to the power of,
square 2.
I mean, like to the power of 2. Divided by, we have to take 3 into, what is 40 square?
1600.
Yes. Plus, again 1600
1600
plus
into 400.
20. Yes.
400.
So we'll get it as 100 into 100 divided by
3600
3600
into 3.
into 3. Yes. So when we are dividing this, we'll get it as
10,000 divided by 31.
Okay, let's say let me cut these two values also. So we'll get it as 100 into
9,800, I believe. 10,800.
so it will be around 0. Okay, let me use calculator for that.
I think 0.97, I believe.
So we have to get the value as 100 divided by 108. 0.93 we are getting. Okay, we have to point it to two decimals, so we can just give it as 0. Because we are given the value as 0.92.5. Okay. Okay, so we'll go ahead with the next question. That is a TCP Renault connection congestion window growth. A TCP new Renault flows in the congestion avoidance phase. Okay, the current congestion window is 40 MSS. For exactly after exactly 5 full uh, round trips. So what will be the value of the congestion window? We have to give it in the MSS. So that is the question. You're not able to understand this. So what is the initial value given?
Current value is 40 MSS.
Yes. Initial value they have given us a 40 MSS. Then
After 5 full RTTs, it should be
so every time we'll
add.
give it
It
like
will add.
plus 5
Yeah,
plus 5, right?
yeah. It will add one every time.
So it will add like okay, first RTT one will be added, next RTT another one, next RTT another one. So 5 RTT in the sense of 5 will be added here.
40 plus 5, 45.
Yes. So I'll get it as 40 plus 5, nothing but the 45 as the answer here. Okay. So here is the next question. So a packet with the destination IP 65.10.5.8 receives at the router. So the router's forwarding table is given as the IP address is given as 8 as the end in 1, 16 2, 24 3 and 0 to 4. So which output port will the router will select is the question.
So it will forward to longest matching sequence.
Exactly. Which is the longest maximum sequence?
Third one.
Exactly. Because first one will match with 8 bits. Next one is of 16 bits matching. Next one is of 24 bits. Is it clear? So the router will use the port 3. And the field used for detecting the errors.
Checksum.
Okay. So here, 1 minute people. So yeah, so the field used for detecting the errors in the IPv4 header is the header checksum. And here is the next question. So the question is given us yes. So which of the following IP address pairs? So we have a set of IP address pairs. So now we have to um like they are belonging to the same what you can say. So like same subnet if the net masking is they have given some IP address. So which IP pair we have to choose in that? Yes, which of the IP pair will belong to the same subnet if the net masking is of 255.255.255.224? Any guess?
So it will come to the net mask will come to 27, I believe. So the remaining will be 32 minus 27 will be 5. So total 2 is to 2 to power 5, 32 addresses. So we just have to. So the sequence will be 0 to 31, then 32 to 63. Then okay. So the first option matches from 32 to 63. So first option is correct. The second option 33 and 65 in two different groups. 96 128. So 127 would be in the 96 group. So this is also different group. 0 to 24 is obviously different group. So the first option will be correct.
Okay. So others, any guess?
Ma'am, I did not understand. Could you repeat the reasoning how we arrived at the solution?
This question, right? Like
Yeah.
the subnet mask and all. Fine.
Ah.
I'll just tell you. So the thing is, here they have given the net masking, right? So for the first question, they have given us like we have to find a pair, and they have given the masking as 255 points, that value, right? So when you take a net masking, no, you'll get the value. See, you have to understand that the subnets will be like we have to take the last octet ranges. That is 0 to 31 is the first, and 32 to 63 is the second one, and 64 to 95, and 96 to 127, and it keeps going. Okay, so now we have to check for this net. So here, what is the value we have got in the last, which is of 224, right? The last octet value in the given net masking.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, if it is 224, so how will you take it in the, like, what you can say?
Binary.
Yeah, binary. So it will be like
1 1
so
1 0 0 0
128
0.
will be taken, 64 will be taken, and then remaining
32.
32. Yeah. So this will be the mask in the binary value, right? So this is
So
the last.
if you are writing, it is not visible.
No. Okay. 1 minute. I hope now. I hope now
Yeah,
my
yeah.
range
Now it is visible. Yeah.
Okay, so first range. So here I'm taking is 224. So how the 224 can be written in the binary? So you all know to write, no? So it's like 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and 128. After that, it go 256, which is beyond this. So I'll just take this. So the remaining will be of 96, right? Which means I can take 64 and 32. Remaining all are filled with zeros. So you don't have any doubt in this part, right?
Yeah, this much is clear.
Okay, fine. So next, what I need to do is I wanted to know the like which subnet it belongs to. Like here we are getting us
So total is 27. 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 3. So it's 27. So remaining is 32 minus 27. That means 2 to the power 5.
A total of what? Like the number of bits set to 1 is 27, you're saying?
Yeah, so initial is 255. So 255 is all one.
Right.
Okay. So you have first octet, second octet, third octet, all one. So in
Right.
total that is 24, and 3 1 you have in the last octet. So 24
Right.
plus 3 is 27. Okay. So in if you convert into CIDR, so it will become 27. The remaining bits are the usable for the private or whatever just subnetting.
Right.
So the remaining will be 32. The total is 32. So you have to subtract 27 from 32. So you will get 5. Okay. So
Yeah.
for 5, you can subnet 2 to power 5. So that will be total 32. So that's why we are making a group of 32. So 0 to 31, then 32 to 63, then 64 to 127. So these kind of group will go on.
Okay,
And,
understood.
and then we have to, match uh, that two IPs should belong to the same group.
Okay. So if there were like 6 bits left, so we'll do pairs of like groups of 64, is it?
Yes.
Okay, understood.
and here we are just checking 0 to 31 is the first one, and 32 to 63 is the second subset, and based on which we are just grouping all the things together. Okay, so that's why here the answer is option A. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we'll go ahead with the next question. I don't know why not. Here, this will be the option. Okay. So how many total host addresses are theoretically available within the private IP address? Like address range 172.16.0.0/12. So how will you find this?
So the last number is important. So we will do 32 minus 12. So we will get 20. So the total host will be 2 to the power 20.
Yes, it's right. Which means like whatever is the value we are getting 2 to the power of that value, that will be the total number of hosts. So it's very simple. First, we have to take the network bits. What is the network bits given in the question?
Network bit is 12. So the initial 12 will be the network bit and the remaining bits will be the host bit.
Yes. So we have the total of 32. Out of 32, we have to subtract 12. That is how we are getting as 20. And 2 to the power of 20, whatever is the value you are getting, that will be the total number of hosts we have to give it as an answer. Any doubt in this, people? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next is an administrator is given the private IP block of 10.10.0.0/16. They need to create a subnets that each support at least 1000. So what is the smallest subnet mask prefix they can use in, and then we have to give it in CIDR notation. So yeah.
So we will calculate 2 to power n greater than or equal to the host and we'll add that n into CIDR.
Okay. Others, did you understand?
I'm sort of confused about the question here. So they're saying we want to create subnets where each subnet can support at least 1000 hosts.
Mm.
So the suffix should support at least 1000, right?
Yes. So that's why
so-
you calculate 2 to power n should be greater than or equal to 1000.
Yeah, but they're asking for the smallest subnet mask prefix. So smallest will just be 16 plus 1 or something like that, right?
Correct. So you have to add 16 plus n. So whatever n you get, you can add it to 16.
No, like they are not saying how many subnets to create, right? They're just saying each subnet should support at least 1000 hosts.
That is correct. Na? So see 16, what is 16? 16 is your network part, right?
Yeah.
After 16, the host part will come into picture. Okay. So 16 is already there. Now you have to accommodate 1000 hosts. So how much you will add to 16 so that 1000 hosts can be can be usable. So first of
Yeah.
all you have to
But that's a maximum subnet, right? If they're asking for the smallest subnet prefix, if we subtract, then it becomes a maximum subnet mask prefix, right?
no, we are not subtracting, we are adding.
Okay, maybe if we solve it, then maybe it will become more clearer.
Okay. I'll just help you in that, people. So actually, what we need is what is the minimum number of subnets we need? That is the question, right? So, what is the minimum number of subnet mask we have to create? Is we need at least 1000 hosts to accommodate. You're clear in this, right? So now, what I need to do, I have to make sure I should accommodate minimum of 1000 per subnet. So we have to take the number of host bits first. That is the, let's say, so total address should be what? 2 to the power of that host, right? Are you clear with this?
Yeah.
Okay. Then what we need is we have to subtract 2 from that because we need the network and the broadcasting thing. So we'll minus 2 from that, right?
Okay.
Okay. That is, we are including the network and broadcasting things and all. So total only we need it. So 2 to the power of h minus 2 should be greater than or equal to this 1000 bits because we need at least, which means greater than or equal to. So now we have to find the host bits. So host bit means, so what is the value we'll get? So you all know, right? 2 to the power of 0 is 1, and then 2 power 2 is 1 is 2, and 2 is of 4, and 3 is of 8. 2 to the power of 4 is 16, 5 is 32, and 6 is 64, 7 is
128.
8, 8 is 2, 5,
256.
6, 9 is 5, 1, 2, and 10 is of what?
1024.
Exactly. So for 10, what we are getting is 1024, which is greater than that host, like that 1000, right? So what will be the host bit then?
10.
Yes. So what is the generally like what will be the total number of addresses which will be of
102. Yeah.
no 32 is the value, right? So we have to subtract 10 from it. So what will be the value we'll get?
22.
Mm.
So
So can
this
you?
is where like I'm a bit confused. Like if we have 22 bits, subnet mask prefix of 22 bits, that is the maximum length of the subnet mask. If we have a subnet mask of let's say 17 or 18 bits, still we are able to support 1024 hosts, right, within each subnet. So if they're asking for the smallest subnet mask prefix, should we be returning like 17 or number smaller than 22, or 22 should be the answer?
We can give 22 as the answer because let's say yeah, so let's say we have to accommodate the 1000 hosts per subnet also. We need to make sure that is also done, right?
Yeah, but
In
if we
that
have a subnet prefix of like 17 bits, then the rest of the suffix bits, 15 bits, they are available to be used, right? So 15 bits can, of course, be greater than 1000 hosts. Uh, I mean, I hope my question is like I'm able to convey my question clearly.
yes. So let's say if I'm giving us um, 21 in the sense of, so what will happen? So if it is 21, it will be like 2 to the power of 11, right?
Again, your writing is not visible.
No, I'm not just writing. I'm just
Okay.
processing it. Let's say I needed only 1000. So if I give it as 21, or as you mentioned, no, like it should be less than 22, right? That is your point, right?
Yeah, it could be less than 22 also, less than or
Okay.
equal to
Let me
22.
take 21. Let me take 21. So if it is 21, 32 minus 21, what will be the value?
11.
11. So I have to raise 2 to the power of 11. 2 to the power of 11 value, what it is?
2038.
1024
2048.
into 2 is,
Two-
we'll get it as
2048.
2048, which is greater than our requirement, no?
But like the question is saying at least 1000 hosts, and we want to find the smallest subnet mask. So smallest will be like lesser than 22 is what I'm confused about.
Okay, my point is, let's say, as you mentioned, if I'm taking as 23, what will happen? I'll get 2 to the power of 9, right?
Yeah,
Okay, which means what is the 2 to the power of 9 value? 512, right?
yeah.
Which is not satisfying that at least 1000 hosts, no? If I'm increasing the value about 23, 24 and all, this number of hosts will be reduced. But I wanted at least of 1000. So that's why I'm taking as 22. If I, let's say, as you mentioned, let me take as 21. So 21, I'm exceeding it, right? And subnet mask is also going that 21 and all. I'm able to understand.
No, but they are not saying.
Oh, Vikrant, you have to see two things. So the first condition is it should support at least 1000 hosts, and the second condition is addition is the smallest subnet mask prefix. So you have to take both of them together. Then if you exceed go to 2048, so that is not the smallest subnet.
It
Because
is a
already we
smaller
need,
subnet than 22, right? The
no,
subnet
no,
mask.
see. Already we know we need only 1000 hosts. Already we are getting 1024. already that itself is greater than the 1000 hosts, right? And we needed the smallest subnet mask out of it.
Yeah, I mean, if they were asking for the longest subnet mask, then I think this 22 answer makes sense. But for me, if they're asking for the smallest subnet mask, I feel like we have to like bring it down also. We could possibly bring it down.
No. If you bring it down, that's what I'm saying. If you bring it down to 21, so already it's exceeding too much, right? So we cannot say, no, that is the smallest mask I'm getting.
Okay, this
It will-
mask, the length of the mask is this 22, right?
I get what Vikrant is trying to say.
Mhm.
So it technically, if you say that what is the largest subnet mask, then 22 will be correct, as far as I understand what Vikrant is saying, and that I think is technically correct. Subhendu
Because
sir.
like length of the subnet mask will be like we are considering as 22 or 21, right?
Yeah, I got your point. What you were trying to say, and I think you are right also. Smallest, smallest could be like 21, 20. 20 is also smallest subnet mask, and the host only has lower limit. Upper limit is not defined. So technically, you can go down. You can go till 16 also,
Yeah, so
and you are
16.
supporting at least, yeah,
Huh,
and you are supporting 1000 hosts, more than 1000 hosts. So
yeah.
lower limit is there, upper limit is not there for the host.
I
Correct.
understand. Like,
Yeah, correct. It will be like a slash 22. That is technically like a higher subnet. Not,
Yeah,
I got it. So because slash 21 also be correct, like we can use slash
yeah, I
20 also.
understood your point.
yeah, that is correct.
So,
Yes.
yeah, correct. So yeah, if in the I got it. Yeah,
You
that's
can give
it's
the
not,
values till 21, like 22 till that you can just give, because it is just taking up that values, because
so
it is
actually
exceeding that.
we did
Okay,
not
this
notice. That's why it's okay. I can ignore this question.
no, so like I mean, if the question comes like smallest, then we can give up to 16, right? And if
Huh.
it's longest, then we can give up to 22. Is that like is the understanding correct then?
Uh, can you repeat?
If they're asking for the smallest subnet mask, then we can give answer as 16. And if they're asking for the longest subnet mask, we can give answer as 22. Is
Yeah,
that
correct.
okay? Okay.
But I think it's if it in the asking the like same question is there in the quiz too. So yeah, we'll see then after the quiz too. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I will see.
Okay. So here is the last question for this session, people. An administrator wants to host a web server that is 122.168.1 and an FTP server is also given on a private network, making them reachable from the public internet via a single public IP address. So, what NAT related issues are required here? I mean, like, what are the NAT will be involved here?
Port forwarding will be correct.
So here it needs the port forwarding, which means like I have like, because the package from the public IP, I have to forward it to the internal private IPs on the port numbers, like whatever the port number they have given. So we have to forward it to. Okay, so we need the port forwarding, and then what else is the other option? Do we need the dynamic NAT?
I think dynamic NAT would break it, na?
Yes,
Port.
it will just make the private IPs. It will map it to a like a public IPs. Like it will just map that. So we cannot take that as an answer. And next is of
Static
different public ports. Static to one NAT, what will happen? One public IP will be, it need a private IP, right?
Yeah.
But here we need it as a one-to-one NAT kind. But here that is also not possible. And
NAT. So only port will not make it happen. You need port and IP both, right?
Huh.
So that's why fourth is incorrect.
So here we'll need it as use of a public ports.
So it is only talking about port. So you have to give port and IP both. So port alone cannot solve this, I believe. PAD does the same thing. Right? It converts from IP and port to a public private IP and port to public IP and port.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have port only, then how you are, matching IP to IP? So IP information is missing. So only port will not work.
Yes. Okay. So we need it like only one public IP. We have to make it reachable, right?
Yeah.
Huh. So yeah. So let's say here we have they are mentioning about two public ports, right? That is 80 and 21.
Right.
So first we have to know what will be the like we have two things now. One is the web server and the other is of the FTP server. So first we need to know what is their port numbers, right?
Right.
Yeah. How do you know? Like, what is the port number of the web server?
80.
Yes. How?
HTTP works on 80 now, so I assume 80 is the web server port.
Okay. So
And if
exactly, there are like web server in the sense of HTTP, we can take it, and FTP we have to transfer the file ports, and like it's a standard port for the FTP. So you can just take 80 and 21 itself. So these things we are just taking it for 80 will send it, and it will take the internal port for that FTP server, and so these two servers can share the one public IP, right?
Yes, they can. They can be accessible from the single IP address.
So this will internal. These two internal servers will share the one public IP, and so you can use a different public ports, right?
Yeah, and depending on port, we can forward to that private IP address. Is that okay? Yeah.
So port forwarding will work, and then this use of public different public ports will also work.
Okay.
Yeah. Subhendu sir.
Yes. Okay.
Huh.
So
you can give instruction to the students.
yeah. So like this type of question will be there. Like I'll suggest practice all the practice 7 questions and the graded 7 question like week 5 to 8. So like without seeing the solution, just watch the content and solve the practice 7 and graded 7 solution. I think like I've uploaded the solution also. So if you are unable to solve, then you can see the solution. And
Is there any possibility that there will be question from week 1 to 4 also?
I think no. Maybe one question will be there, but I think no. Whatever I remember, there is only week 5 to 8.
Okay.
Yeah. So and this time there is no like true false question. Only the
NAT.
MCQ and NAT.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is that. And yeah, all the best for the quiz to do well in the exam.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, all the
Thank you,
best,
ma'am.
students. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Subhendu sir, I can stop recording now, or
Yeah,
do
yeah.
we have to wait till 9
No,
or
no.
4 more minutes?
You can stop the recording.
Okay.